Is there anyone in the world who had a better week than Antonio Cinquepalmi?
Who are you asking the question? Your father, me, Mike,
Napoli
or anybody?
fans are doing pretty good too.
The
right?
question is to you.
To me. You know what?
Is this the best week of your life? You met your hero, Antonio Cassano,
That's
which
right.
we're going to talk about.
That's right.
Milan went to the final of Coppa Italia. And, of course, we know that you've been going for Napoli in the Scudetto race. And Inter dropped 3 points. Napoli took the lead. And you're wearing a Napoli skirt.
Yeah,
So
mini
is
skirt.
this-
Mini skirt.
Nobody wants to see that. I don't want that image in my head. So is this the happiest week?
I gotta be
Ever
honest
had?
with you. We didn't have a place to watch the game, so Rosario from Ribalta, he said, "Anto, come over. I'll get you a table." So with the producer, we got ourselves into the car. It took us an hour and 20 minutes
All
to
right,
get
you
over
could
there.
skip some of these
Let's
details.
skip this detail. We made it. We made it a little bit late. Napoli, of course, scores. And we're already thrilled on the car. We get into Ribalta. The atmosphere was boiling.
A lot of Napoli fans?
It was packed like sardines. So we were standing up, just touching elbow with everybody, like literally like
I
that.
thought you had a table.
Well, the table was given up because people they had nobody else to fit in. I mean, everybody was squeezed like sardines.
And how was their reaction? Because that was the moment that they took back first place.
Oh my God! I sent you some of the footage, some video. I mean, it was out of this world. The tone and the loudness of the Ribalta of the pizzeria. I mean, the place was trembling. I mean, Mr. Producer can confirm, right? Producer. So anyway, he was amazing.
I saw they were even in the streets.
Amazing.
Yeah,
we blocked
I
the
saw
street.
that. I think that's a little too
We
much.
blocked the street.
You're
blocked
superstitious now?
We
You don't-
blocked
you
the
don't go on the
Broadway.
streets
We
yet.
blocked
Wait,
everybody.
you don't think it's you don't think the Scudetto's done?
No.
You know?
No. The score is not done.
What-
They have to.
They have to calm down.
Calm down. Take it easy.
You know what they need? They need 3 wins and
And
one
one
tie
tie.
to be able
Okay.
to win the
But,
Scudetto in 4 games.
You know, you never know. There are some teams that are still fighting
I agree with
to
Gaetano.
stay in Serie B, to stay in Serie A, like Lecce. You know, so that there's some teams that are struggling, and you never know what happens. You know, you saw what Parma did. Who wasn't Lecce winning 1-0?
Against Atalanta.
Yeah,
It was
they
winning
tied.
1-0. Yeah, they tied. Yeah, they were winning 1-0
Well,
in Bergamo. So
Some of those
you know,
games also went their way too. This week, Lecce got a point, which nobody
Right.
expected them to get a point. Parma got a point against Lazio. They almost won the game.
They were 2-0.
They were up 2-0.
Oh
and
my
Cagliari,
God.
Yeah, that's right.
Cagliari beat
Oh.
Verona.
Yeah,
So
but-
even those results for Napoli, like you could not have scripted a better week.
Right.
But because they have to play Genoa,
Yeah,
then
that's
they play
right.
Lecce, then they play Parma, and then the final game
That's
is
right.
Cagliari.
Parma was winning 2-0.
Mike, you've been up and down in your feelings about Napoli this season. It's been a roller coaster of emotions. You were high on Napoli in the beginning of the season because of all the reasons that we've talked about a million times. Then you thought it was lost for a while, and now they're back in first place. Do you think they're going to win the Scudetto, or do you still believe in Inter for all the reasons that you were mentioning? You kept saying that you think Napoli will slip up in these games.
I don't even know what to believe anymore. I keep going back and forth. At first, I thought Napoli. Then I thought Napoli. They gave me no reasons to believe them. And then, out of nowhere, Inter lose 3 straight games. So it makes you think how unpredictable that you look comfortable there.
I'm trying to fix my
So
mini
where-
skirts over here.
So where are you? Where are you now in it?
I never expected Inter to lose these 3 games. Anto, you're making that noise.
No, Anto, let's get rid of it.
no,
No, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Anto,
So,
what is that?
so Mike, where are you? Where are you now?
I think it's gonna go like Gaetano said. I think it's gonna go down to the last game. Will they win it? I really hope Napoli could do something. But man, it doesn't matter who they play. Like I can see anyone beat anybody, anyone lose to anybody nowadays. Just by seeing Inter on that losing streak, 3 games in a row, I never would have thought that would happen in a million years.
So you guys, Antonio, I heard you say you agree with him. Maybe I'm being a little bit naive in this, but I honestly think, and I had said this last week. If you remember on last week's podcast, I said this would be the weekend that decides the Scudetto because I didn't see. I thought Roma would be the one to take a tie. I thought they would take 1 point away from Napoli, from Inter, and that would be the decider in the Scudetto. They managed to take away 3, which is more than I expected, and we'll dive deeper into the games. But at this point, I think an Antonio Conte team, all you have to do is know the history of Antonio Conte. We've brought up the stats here. What he wins in April, 90% of the games. For me, there's no way that he's going to lose. Maybe he'll tie 1 game, like I said, and you still be able to win 3. Even if he's got to take the pitch himself, he's not going to allow them to do this. And they're finally getting their goal scoring back. Hopefully, there's no serious injuries with the guys that went off, like Lobotka, like Anguissa, like Buongiorno, because that would be massive. And they're in a good moment where even a guy like McTominay could score goals. So for me, I honestly feel like this was a decisive weekend, and I don't think it'll go back to level points. I think Napoli is going to ride out and win their 4th Scudetto.
Wow.
I think, let me just pick up from what Mike left off. I think it's not Napoli that is winning. It's Inter that is losing.
No, come on,
Napoli,
don't do that.
they're doing their job.
Don't do that.
Napoli, they're doing what they're supposed to do. But Inter, if you look at even at the dates, I'm not sure it was 2 or 3 years ago when Radu took the ball and Bologna wound up winning that game 2-1. I think it was April 27.
But on the point of Napoli, do you think that they're gonna do you think they're gonna win the Scudetto at this point?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
You're not because Inter they don't have it.
Okay.
They are physically drained. Their face, their expression, it's like they have fears. They have fears. Anyway,
Let me get it.
Forza Napoli. Anyway, they play with the fears. I saw Di Marco when he was subbed yesterday. Di Marco, he was sitting on the bench and he was staring into the space. He was not looking at the game. He was not looking at the camera. He was not looking anywhere. His eyes were focused on the clouds.
They look dead.
He looked dead.
Yeah.
Barella, he looked like a shade of himself.
Barella was very poor.
Oh my goodness, Mkhitaryan, the expression of the pain every time that he was coming back or something when we didn't go the right way. Same thing with Çalhanoğlu. Everything.
Well,
The
Mkhitaryan
expression.
wasn't there.
No. Mkhitaryan didn't play, but from time to time the camera focused on him. But even
Good analysis.
Çalhanoğlu, I'll tell you, he didn't look that good either. So
I think Acerbi was the only one, and the oldest guy looked like he had the most gas in the tank.
Listen.
So let's take the Inter side first, and then we'll go back to Napoli. We've basically seen in this last week Inter, for me, knocked out of the 2 competitions. Obviously, Coppa Italia is a fact. For me, I think that they did lose the Scudetto at this point, and all that's left is the Champions League, and they're not peaking at the time that they need to peak. And I've kept saying that I thought Champions League is where most of their focus would go. I felt very confident on that. I always thought Napoli was going to win the Serie A, but I thought Inter in Champions League was going to go all the way. I thought they have all the tools to beat Barcelona. I will say that I see a lot of worrying signs, and I'm hoping that on Wednesday we see a team that's hungry and has a fire in their eyes, and this is the competition that they've been waiting for. But what I've seen in the last 3 matches, to lose 3 games in a row, to score 0 goals in that time frame, the last time that's happened is I think it's 2017. In Inzaghi era, that's never happened before, to lose 3 in a row, let alone not score a goal. How do you feel about this? Because again, we've given Inter a lot of credit over the time, and we can't even say that they were only playing their backup players. There was a lot of their starters there that Antonio just named names that were really poor in this match and did look tired.
So this is what happened when you play football. Every team goes through some, bad times. It happens to everybody. Even Man City, look at what they're going through right now. I think that when the last play of the game against Bologna, it was literally 30 seconds to end the game. It was the last throw in, and the game was going to be over. That goal there cut their legs in half. And I think mentally, and it destroyed them, that game against Bologna, because they thought they had at least a tie for the game. And then from there, it goes into your mind. And I think the problem right now, more than, okay, I understand that the team is tired, but so are the other teams. I mean, Barcelona probably played the same amount of games.
They just had a final
By
Real Madrid.
Yeah, Bayern Munich. The other teams, they all play, and Barcelona look. So I think it's more mental than it is physical. So They have, I think, something going for them because against Barcelona on Wednesday, you don't need to say anything to these players. I think if I was Inzaghi, I would give them the day off and say, listen, you don't come here, just take the day off. Because on Wednesday, they're going to be ready, and they have to be ready here. And if they're ready here, I think they can play a very, very good game.
But are you confident that they will be?
Yes.
You are.
For Wednesday.
Okay. I hope so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think
Go
that
ahead,
Milan defeat, I think that was a real punch in the stomach for them. Because I feel like even though a lot of them weren't vocal about it, that triplete was kind of going in the air and saying like, well, it's going to be a magical season. And that was like a real punch. That was like a real punch in their hope, sort of, because everything was going to that point, you know? They were there in the Champions League. They were there in Coppa
and they played well
Italia.
the first half, Mike. You're right about that. The first
You know
half,
what
they
I'm saying?
35 minutes.
They were looking to take
something's
the
like,
game.
it's very defeating for something like that, especially if you have your mind on it.
So you think that's where it was lost?
Not that it was lost. It was just like that was a big punch in the stomach, and it's hard
In the
to
stomach,
come
Mike.
back from
Yeah,
that.
the stomach. I would
You
say
know?
the stomach.
I also think this is something that I felt for a long time, and you could see it even if you look at Inter's numbers. We highlighted how well they were defensively, the fewest goals conceded in the Champions League group stage, right, and up until this point. But the one thing that I kept saying is that up top, they're not scoring enough goals. The guys who replace Thuram, they don't have it. There's nobody in the team that has the speed, that has the ability to dribble 1v1, that could run in behind like Thuram. He's a huge loss to this team, as well as Dumfries. And for me, it's nothing new. We didn't learn anything new. But when you're getting to these crucial points in the season, you're seeing the effects of that. And I have big doubts against Barcelona if Thuram's not there. We're still waiting to see. They don't know if they're going to push it. Pavard, for example, is going to be out against Barcelona. For me, it doesn't make a huge difference.
No.
Defensively, I like the guys on the bench. But Thuram, there's nobody with that quality. So if Thuram is not there against Barcelona, that is my fear. If he is there, I think that Inter could play a really good match. And my hope and my feeling, because of everything that I've read over these last month, this entire year, you listen to what Bastoni said. September, we would choose going to the Champions League final over guaranteed 21st Scudetto. It's clear that their goal is to win the Champions League.
Oh, come on, that's a BS. It's a big BS. I'll tell you what.
What's BS? He said that himself.
Until a few days ago, they were in for the triplete.
But they asked him
Tre
to
nostra
choose.
tuplete.
But they asked him a question, which
yeah,
is,
but
if
you're going back to September. Come on.
No, but that's my point. Is that the focus for them has been primarily on the Champions League. I think last year.
Of course.
No. I think for the entire year, last season was a monumental Scudetto. It was getting the Seconda Stella, the second star, the 20th. They went all in on that. And I think if Inter did go all in on the Scudetto, I think that they would have won it if they threw away all the competitions. To get to the end of April, how many teams in the world were in a treble race?
Very few.
PSG and Ligue 1, okay. Barcelona. That's it. Arsenal, who's the fourth team in there, they're not even close.
Marco Gaetano
and Liverpool,
said it right.
we all hyped up. Liverpool got knocked out in Champions League as well.
Marco Gaetano said it right before. Inter not only are drained mentally, they are physically.
He said it's not physical.
I know, but let me tell you something.
That's not what he said. He said they're not physical.
Well, let me tell you something. I agree with him partially. They are both. The pressure is on them. Everybody in this world over here, whether you're in Italy, whether you're in Madrid, whether you're in Barcelona, whether you're in France, whether you're in Germany, everybody sees Inter with all of this pressure, and they are collapsing on their own weight. And I'll tell you the reasons why. Inzaghi looks too nervous on the sideline. Lautaro, he looks like possessed. He looks like so angry. It's just every single little things he react like it's the end of the world. A lot of people, they feeling the pressure. Frattesi is not doing the job. You said it right. Thuram is not there. Mm-hmm. But Thuram is not going to make a big difference. It's the whole group that is not there right now. They're not functional as a unit. They're not functioning.
So are they? What do you expect Wednesday against a very informed Barcelona?
I don't see it.
No.
I don't see it happen. I mean, if they can limit the damage, let's say to lose maybe 2-1. Let's say 2-1 will be a great achievement for them. But if they lose 2-0, it's over. Over. There is no way that Barcelona is going to allow them to go and score on them. Barcelona's got quality at every level. Defensively, I don't believe that. I just don't believe that.
I'm interested to see, because this is for months we've said it though. I'm interested to see how they could bypass the offside trap of Barcelona, who has the most in all of Europe. But I think those runs from the wing backs like Di Marco and Dumfries, it's usually the center forwards who are getting caught in offsides. And the good thing about Inter is they're so dangerous because they got runners from midfield, which I think will help them in this offside trap. But again, I'm just wondering if they're going to be up for it, or if getting out of all these competitions has sucked the life out of them.
Marco, listen to me. Bologna figured them out. AC Milan figured them out. Parma figured them out. There are so many teams in the last 5 or 6 weeks that figured them out, their style of play. The ball from the back and then vertically into the one touch, boom, and then either Thuram or somebody else find themselves one-on-one with the goalkeeper. It's over. It's not happening anymore. They study the video and they figured them out. This system is not working. Inzaghi is going to have to come up with something new. Okay, that 3-5-2, it's not as good as you think. Maybe they need a 4-3-3 or a 4-3-2-1. It's kind of late to change into the season right now. They figure them out. They always find themselves defensively grasping for hair. Okay? They're not attacking. They're not going to be able to attack Barcelona. I'm telling you right now. Barcelona is going to be attacking them.
I don't know if Anto, I don't know if it's more of them being figured out, or it was Inter more shooting themselves in the foot in terms of what's been going on for the past three performances, because they didn't look like themselves. And I think this game's going to say a lot. Coming from 3 straight defeats, this will say a lot about Inzaghi and his men, if they're up for the challenge to say, okay, we're out of the Coppa Italia, it happened, but let's see what else what we can salvage from the last 2 tournaments. You're playing Barcelona, all the hype is there, so you don't have to be hyped for a team. It's Barcelona, you're in the Champions League, and this is going to say a lot about the end of the season, and it's going to be a big statement to Napoli, if depending on what happens in this result.
Mental pressure and mental pressure for me, and psychological pressure, it's a lot more damaging than being physically fit to play, because you can just dig deep into yourself and just make it and just kill yourself on the field and just make it through the game and make things happening. But the mental pressure and the psychological pressure for you to win the game or to do something that is meaningful for the team, it's a lot harder. And they feel that pressure. Right now, I can see it. They feel the pressure. The facialist pressure tells you everything. The coach feels it, and the players, they feel it.
You know what's something that I know? I feel like I've been seeing this Inter throughout the entire season, though. There's a lot of moments that you could go back to. There's the game against Monza. There's the game against Juventus where they're up 4-2 at home, and then they can see. No, I'm just saying even before the tired legs, right? And I remember again Mkhitaryan after a game. I don't remember which game that they dropped points in, but he said sometimes it's almost like we think we're better than everybody, that we don't still have to work for it. And I feel like that's been them in Serie A for large periods of time. Everybody knows. It's easy to say Inter's the best team in Serie A. Okay, very good. You still have to go out and you still have to show it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's a lot of moments throughout the Serie A season where we've seen that. So that leads me to believe, is it going to be in the Champions League when you guys just said it? You need no motivation to play against Barcelona in a Champions League semifinal. Are they going to come to it? Because for me, that is the season. That is the season. The Serie A, I would say, forget about it. For Napoli to drop 3 points, not even 4 points, I don't think it's going to happen. Everything is riding on this match on Wednesday. It could crumble their season if they have a bad defeat, because it would be almost impossible to overcome. I'm staying optimistic, and I'm saying that I think the real Inter will show up on Wednesday. And if you get a result in a tough time, a tie, maybe losing by a goal is not the worst thing in the world, but a tie would be something to bring back home. And
are you saying this because realistically you think that they can do something, or because you want somebody from Italy or from Serie A to do well because he represents Italy?
Both. I mean, listen, I said that.
But you just say seriously. I
say both. I thought Inter was going to win the Champions League since the start of the season, because I think that there's nobody head and shoulders above anyone. Right? In years past, there's a couple times where I saw one team and I said, oh boy. Like when Inter played Man City, the year that they went to the Champions League final. I know in the match they ended up playing a really great match. But leading into that, I said, oh, shoot, how are you going to be able to beat Manchester City? I can make a realistic case for how you could beat Barcelona, how you could beat Arsenal, how you could beat PSG.
Okay.
So I just think it's closer, right? And I'm going to stick with that prediction. At the great times in Champions League, I've seen them step up to the plate. But lately, of course, I do have my concerns in these
I want to
matches.
throw the Scudetto away, like you're saying, though. Like, anything can happen. Just like, I feel like Napoli could slip any single game. Yeah, on paper, you could say
That's right,
that they
Mike.
can win it all. But with this season,
more than one
everything's
game.
happening. I get
It's 2
it.
games.
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it. But I wouldn't just
Lazio-
throw it out the window like
Lazio
that.
and Como are going to be two tough games.
Very
Sure,
tough.
too.
Because
That's
Lazio
Inter.
fighting for top 4.
That's Inter.
It's Inter.
Yeah. That's right.
And for Napoli, Lecce is going to be a tough game.
They're right above, right? They're fighting.
Yeah, Lecce is right there. And,
Even if you get a tie there.
yeah,
Even if you get a tie.
and there's another
Genoa, Parma,
yeah,
Cagliari.
Parma. Parma, you got to be
You know,
careful.
Parma will be
what's
safe by then.
Marco, you know what's favoring Napoli right now? Unfortunately, I have to say it, is the coach that they have it. That coach, Conte, is very, very, very focused on keeping them focused on the game and into winning. As
Mike,
much as I hate
check
to
his
say
temperature.
that.
Is he feeling okay?
He's the only reasons why
He always talk bad
Napoli.
about Conte.
Hallelujah.
All right,
What
I gotta
the
say
hell
it.
is
You
But
say
I
you-
like that. I like it because I don't want Inter to win anything.
You
But
say-
in this particular
you didn't want
case,
it at Milan.
I don't want him at AC Milan. But in this particular case, I think it's Conte, the extra man that Napoli has, and Inzaghi is not doing his job. It's out of option. He tried everything.
Anto,
Poor guy.
There is no better league manager in the entire world than Antonio Conte. That is a fact. Period.
With no
league
European
league
yeah,
manager. I'm
with
just
no-
talking about the league.
League.
In the league, he is the best that there is. He understands over 38 games, and that's not to say that you can't criticize him. You want to criticize style. You want to criticize that he throws away different competitions. I am talking about strictly league. He is the best that there is. The numbers speak for it. The way that his teams improve, the fact that they lost their best player in January, which is the moment that I started freaking out. I said, oh, okay, now how are they going to be able to do it? Yet he's managed to find a way. The improvement in so many of these players. I mean, watching Napoli play this game against Torino, I felt so proud. I felt so proud watching them. Everybody knows that I've been going for them, but it's the way that they are finding solutions. There's so many injuries in the team. They have the best defense in the world, the best defense in Europe. No team has a better defense. He's had to play Juan Jesus in 1/3 of the matches. He's had to play Marin from the start. Buongiorno injured. Oliveira, is he going to have to play center back? Can he play left back? Mazzocchi has to come in. So he's dealt with problems. Neres has gone down injured. If Lukaku will go down, it will be a nightmare. Sometimes I got to put Raspadori. You say Inzaghi doesn't have a plan B. Conte could do the 3-5-2. He could do the 4-3-3. He could do the 4-4-2. So he is the absolute best. He is doing a phenomenal job. This is a historic moment for Napoli. And I keep thinking back to my friends and people that I meet on the streets that are Napoli fans. And I remember when they won the 3rd Scudetto just 2 years ago, which was a completely different Napoli side, but either way. And I met the older generation of Napoli fans. And they had tears in their eyes because they said, we had Maradona when we last won. And all I thought is, I want my son or daughter to be able to watch Napoli win a Scudetto. And now they're going to witness too.
But guess who's the best player? Nobody can identify who's the leader of Napoli. Nobody. Who's the leader of this Napoli?
I would say your point is right.
There's
but,
no
But if I have
leader.
to choose one, it's got to be Scott McTominay.
No. The guy just scored 2-3 goals here and there. He's a
2-3 goals.
spectacular
He scored
player.
11 goals.
Spectacular player, don't get me wrong.
I
But,
don't think that makes him a leader, though.
there is
He's
no
probably most
leader.
informed.
But
There is no leader.
if you had-
Everybody
if
is
you had
the
to
group, the leadership. The leadership is the entire group that
Correct.
they work as a unit. They just feeding off each other.
We're going away from the point. We all agree. Everybody knows that
There's no-
Napoli's strength is the sum of their parts, right? It's not that they have a superstar. But if you had to identify who is the one standout, the difference maker this year, it has to be Scott McTominay. He scored 11 goals in Serie A. 7 of those has been when the game is at 0-0. So he is, in fact, the difference maker.
A difference maker, not leader.
Lukaku could be the guy that you could say as well, second, because he's got double digits in goals and assists. The only other player in Europe that has that, Mohamed Salah, who's a Ballon d'Or candidate. But the point is, McTominay. Why is McTominay doing so well, in my opinion? At Manchester United, he scored 7 goals last year. By the way, I think that they wish that they still had him, Manchester United, for their league position that they're in right now. Also playing in a more defensive position. But Conte loves these guys from the Premier League. He loves them because they're very physical, they're very intense, and he could tactically plop him in the right place. As I said, Conte's the best tactician. The 3 midfielders that he has, the other 2 guys, Lobotka sits deep, but this guy, Anguissa and McTominay, they have the freedom to make those runs. That is why McTominay is scoring all those goals.
To box.
That's exactly what he fits. And I feel like he's also embraced the culture of Napoli. You could see it in the way that he does his interviews. The players love him, the fans love him, and all those things really help a player.
But tactically, even if you go back to previous teams that he has coached, the midfielders play a very good position where they have to go inside. I remember watching one of his practices, and he says, hey, we always go forward with 4 players, always. And so if you don't play with, even if you play with 3 forwards, which he doesn't, some of the midfielders, they have to be inside the area because he wants 4 players always to attack. Minimum, you attack with 4 players. So some of those midfielders, they have to score. And, so it's tactically, it's not that happens by chance. Tactically, that's the way he coaches the team.
I like the way.
And sorry, just one other point, because I thought it was a crazy story. I forgot about it. But Napoli was not supposed to sign Scott McTominay. Napoli was supposed to sign Brescianini. And then Atalanta came in the last second,
they
stole the deal. And I remember everyone was saying, Conte is so pissed, Conte's this. And that's also credit to Napoli as a club, Giovanni Manna, who they identified somebody else. They closed the deal for Scott McTominay. There's people who laughed at the price that they paid. Now it's paying dividends a lot, but it shows you destiny and the way that things were meant to be for McTominay to fall in Naples.
In terms of, we were discussing leadership before, I think it's the 3 that you guys named, Lobotka, McDominay, and Anguissa. McDonald's and Anguissa. Burger King and Anguissa.
Di Lorenzo, you got to throw in there as a leader. Talk about leadership.
It's all right, Those 3 guys, okay? 3. Peter, those 3 guys, all right, Pete? 3. Those are the 3 guys. Okay, Pete, are you looking? Pete. Anyway, those 3 guys, they are the key of Napoli.
I'll tell you who the leader is.
No, they are those 3. Believe me.
Take a guess who he's going to say.
I tell you who the leader is.
Who's the leader?
Conte is the leader.
Well, we knew. I mean, we said
that's
that.
It's
but
not,
those 3 guys, they're making a big
inside
difference.
the field and outside the
those
field.
Are 3
because
guys,
when he's on the sideline, I feel like he's inside the field.
That's right.
That's because he is.
The way he goes and the way he directs, I feel like, I think at the end of the game, this guy loses more weight than one of the players.
They should put him the what do you call it?
The tracker.
Yeah,
the tracker.
Yeah, the brow over there to check all of the stats, how many miles that he ran and all the stuff. But
it's amazing. But that fits Napoli. That passion. If you know anyone from Napoli, if you know the way that they live football, if you've been to Napoli, you walk on any street corner, you see a Napoli logo, you see a Napoli flag,
Marco,
you see the blue colors.
You don't know something about Napoli.
Everything that they do, the team is intertwined into the city. And Conte, people tell you, when he goes out to dinner, he's moving the salt and pepper. He's talking about tactics. He lives football to a different degree. So it was such a great move. De Laurentiis made a terrible mistake after Spalletti left and they got Rudy Garcia. He made a really big mistake. We all sat here and criticized him for an entire year. De Laurentiis played no games this summer. De Laurentiis last year made up for the mistake that he made. He said, okay, you know what? The coach is very important. I can't just be the one to manage them. It can't just be the players. He got the best possible coach for the situation of Napoli. And for them to win this is not normal. It's something very special, and we got to give credit to De Laurentiis.
I think we should refrain ourselves to already put
yes, you're right.
Put Napoli as the winner, because the Napoletani, they are very we say superstitious.
You just told me they were going in the streets.
They were going, but not to say that we won already. They do like a corner, meaning they're very superstitious. They said, let's wait until the very end. They were not celebrating because
even to be in this situation with 4 games to go, you're 3 points above, is something that every single fan would have signed for a million times over. So it's still a success. Anything that they do to this point is a success.
There is magic in the air, but they're not out there yet.
They qualify for Champions League.
Yes. That's for sure. So they achieved their main goal, but there is this magic is still there, but they're not really letting the big scream out yet because the mathematics is not there yet. And Mike was right because hey, well, I mean 3 points, anything can happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's see how that plays out. Before we talk about Milan and we talk about all the other storylines in Serie A, we should talk about your big week.
Yes,
that you
yes.
had.
Oh my God.
You finally met Cassano. How have these last 2 days been reflecting?
First of all, the surprise, you guys. I have to thank all of you guys. I don't know. I'm sure Nicola Ventola was very helpful and all the stuff. It's just I'm still processing this whole thing because I said I didn't know that it was going to happen this month, or maybe I said maybe we're gonna go back to Italy. Zlatan was the first one. It came out of my. I see myself this giant, this big superstars, Zlatan and Perisic in front. And then I asked Zlatan, I said, hey, Zlatan, no chance you can introduce me to Cassano. And then this whole thing here went into their podcast with Lelia Dani, Nicola Ventola, which is another spectacular guy. It's not really from Bari, it's from Grumo, but Grumo's near, it's another little town like west of Bari, but it's just beautiful. Every tiny little town around Bari, they're beautiful. They're like flowers that they come into the desert. So anyway, so Nicola, thank you if you're looking at this podcast. I love you. I love you for everything you've done with those guys. And my kids, they didn't tell me anything because you guys got my jersey, even though my son forgot one of the most beautiful jersey that I want Cassano to sign it
No
too.
dinner for him,
Huh?
No dinner,
well, no
for,
dinner
him.
for him. He's going to get a little less dinner on his plate.
time.
So anyway, it was too much. And Cassano to do what he did, he's a gentleman. And, you know, I have nothing. I cannot really say thank you enough to you and Cassano, both of you guys, and Cassano. And then we had Gaetano over there too. His wife, spectacular lady. I mean, she's the mother of 2 beautiful kids. She's an athlete. She's a beautiful lady. She's a model, I believe. She was a model. Yes. And then and she said, I mean, she was I'm almost pretty sure she's still doing the water polo right now. Because she's an unbelievable.
I think he said she was training, but I think the thing that's crazy to me is we've been lucky enough to meet a lot of people, and the deal was that Cassano had 5 minutes. When I spoke to Ventola, they saw your video. Obviously, the power of social media. They witnessed that with Zlatan. They thought it was funny. They reacted to it. You even flew to Florence just a month ago to try to meet him. And as fate had it, he did not end up going to that game, even though you flew all the way to Italy. And it's lucky that didn't happen because you probably would have met him for 2 minutes.
Right.
Anyway, the deal was to meet for 5 minutes. We tricked you. We told you that we were going to the city for a completely different reason. We set it up near his hotel where we would surprise you. You said, we'll do the surprise, and that's it. And then it's credit to you, and I think credit to our group. I think my dad was saying this, the fact that Peter was there, that we were all there. And we just told him your story, and we messed around with him. And I think people from Bari really like that, right? They kind of like when you talk back to them a little bit. And once I saw him switch, the moment that I told him that you're from Torre Mare, that you used to watch him as a kid playing football. And I told him the story right away that you always come on this podcast and say, Cassano used to go in the streets, and he used to say, all right, you guys, we're putting money to play. I'm taking your money. And then he would tell his team, you're giving me half. Otherwise, I'm going to go on the other team and you're going to get nothing. But he did it because he was paying for his groceries for his mother. It was just them two in the house. That's how he made money. And he loved that right off the bat. You know, you knew that. And for Cassano to invite us up and then to have coffee, and we spent 2 hours with him sitting. It's like if he was sitting right next to us here, asking him any question.
He made you
the
feel
world.
his best friend. I mean, what a gentleman. Only champions can do things like that. Many times there are people that have achieved a fame into soccer that they won't even allow you to get close, or maybe you'll be so lucky to get a picture with them. But Cassano, I can see that is a real champion, and he's a gentleman too. So
a lot of people,
excellent guy.
A lot of people
cannot
see
say anything better than. There are no words for me to say how grateful I am that he got to sit with us and he signed my jersey. Well, by the way, can I show them? Show them? Yeah.
But pull it, Mike. Help him pull it out. I wanted to say that
They're over there.
No, they're right next to you. I put them right there. I wanted to say about Cassano that there's a lot of people will see the headlines that he makes and the things that he say, and they'll judge him as a person based on him saying wild stuff, because he says a lot of wild stuff. He said it to us, right? But you judge a person by the way that they truly act, and I saw like a top gentleman when he did this.
Hold this, Mike.
So that's your Roma jersey.
Guys,
hold it up to his face, Mike.
This jersey,
Mike.
This jersey was given to me by one of my best friends sitting next to you. His name is Gaetano. He went all the way to Rome. He was able to get Cassano jersey. Guys, look at this. Signed right here. Can you see it?
They could see it.
Can I have it back?
No, you can't. I'm sorry. So
Very nice.
this has been on my closet, and nobody can touch it. So soon it's gonna be, put it on display. I'm gonna make a Cassano room. It's in the process. I'm gonna have a room. Then there is another one right here, guys. Look at this. Sign of the number 10. Okay.
Very nice.
How lucky can I? I mean, there is nothing else that I need in this life. This is the top for me. So.
All right, you can put it down.
Thank you, Cassano. And then I have another one over there that maybe one day, if I run into him again, I'm gonna see if he can sign it for me, because. Mr. Producer, can you give me that AC Milan jersey?
No,
I wanted to show them. I wanted to show them.
All right, let's get everybody else's reaction.
All right, give it to me, please. Give it to me.
Dak.
Give it to me.
What was your takeaway?
Well, we'll let him show it.
Yeah, I wanted to
Otherwise,
show.
he's not
Give it
going to
to me.
leave you
Quello,
alone.
quello. Hold it,
Oh
Mike.
my God.
This is what you guys asked my son to get the jersey while behind my back. So this was another one that unfortunately I didn't have it with me, because you guys lied to me about this whole thing. But even though it's not signed, I'm so grateful. I have another Cassano jersey. Who knows one day? So Cassano, thank you so much. Carolina, thank you so much. And Marco, thank you. Mike, thanks. Gaetano, thank you. And Nicola, thank you. Lele Adani, thank you. All right?
So these things, they do not happen, okay? I've been meeting players, and in fact, I told Cassano that we met like 25 years ago, 23 years ago. I've been meeting players from all the teams from Italy, because in the summer times they come here and they spend the summer here. I've been in the hotels with them. I've been in the airports with them. We're talking about Juventus, Inter, Milan, Roma. This thing does not happen. You meet somebody, you talk to them for 5 minutes, but then that's it. Some of them you might, still be friends, and they can sit down with you, but it doesn't happen for more than 5 minutes, maximum 10 minutes, and then that's it, it's over. This guy met you for the first time, and after 5 minutes that he met you, he invited you to the hotel. The hotel is like, for him, it was like his house.
That's right.
Hey, I'm inviting you into my house. And then, to sit down and to open up and to talk for 2 hours. I mean, this is something that for you, I mean, it's a dream come true.
Yes.
For me, that I was for the first time that I met him, I was so impressed because he was so funny. He was so smart. He remembered all the dates, a game that he played 23 years ago. He remembered who passed him the ball, who scored the goal. It was unbelievable how smart this guy is. He was friendly. He opened up to us. And the other thing that impressed me so much was, hey, this is the way I am. He was sincere. Marco goes, okay, this part we're going to cut. He goes, you can leave him. That's the way I am. I don't care. He goes, I have nothing to hide. So all these things that happened that day, it was something that I think will never happen again. But it happened, and it happened in a natural way. We didn't, you guys did not plan it. If you would have planned this, it would never, ever happen.
Listen, Gaetano, I gave a lot of credit to Carolina, his wife, because she allowed this. I mean, hey, you got 2 kids, you got your wife, you are in New York, and
point.
she was excellent. She was, to me, a spectacular person that allowed for this to happen.
And we kept giving him outs. I think I told him like 3 times. I said, okay, we're going. No, stay. Hold on, let's get another coffee. I'm really proud that we were all there.
She's a spectacular person.
I love that all of us were there, and we could each ask whatever we wanted, and it was so natural. And like you said, the conversation is very long. I've been going through and editing and putting subtitles on it all because he doesn't speak one word of English. In fact, every time Mike kept saying something in English, he's like, what the hell is this guy saying to me? Somebody translate.
But Carolina,
So
she speaks English, right? She does.
So I'm
Right, Mike.
I'm translating all of that, and then we'll post the full conversation. I sent him another message, and I said, listen, if you want me to cut anything out, if you think about something, let me know. And as you just mentioned, he said, I'll go tell him to his face, so it doesn't matter. Mike, what was your reaction?
And just this only happens because he's got a great wife that allowed that. They're on vacation.
Yeah, with the kids. I mean, you're
if
taking away time from your family.
If
Yeah.
your wife, doesn't, and it looked like all was natural. It was okay.
Yeah, to be honest, I just found out how bizarre it was. First of all, I thought it was just going to be like, oh, I made him, handshakes, whatever, be on their way. But it seemed like he was like a distant cousin of yours. And it was just, you guys were so similar. You were laughing at the same things. You reacted the same way. And I was like, well, it felt like a weird fever dream for me when I was like, what's going on here? Things are going along too well. But I just felt like,
I cannot juggle the ball with Cassano.
That's the only.
Hey, what do you want?
The only difference is the calcio skills. But in terms of you guys you can tell you were brought up the same way. You were in the same area, and you could tell that you laughed at the same jokes. You
we
reacted
happen
the
to
same
agree
way.
even which one is the best tennis player and that we've seen play. And
He even said
you just had a great
He said if I
time.
hang out with this guy any longer, they're gonna throw us in jail together.
Yeah, honestly,
I-
it's like you were relatives.
it was fun.
Mike, I had the same
like-
exact feeling because we were sitting like this. You were there with Cassano. Mike and I were right here, and my dad was on the side, and Peter. And I just kept looking at you two, and I said, "What the?" I said, "These guys are the same person. They are the same person in a scary way." I thought one of you was enough, and then I met the other one, and I said a couple things just to trigger you both because I figured it was gonna work. I threw a little bit of bait, like when I said Milan should get Allegri. I knew you guys are both gonna flip out.
No
and the
way.
way that they flipped out, get out of here.
Allegri.
And then Antonio goes to Cassano and goes, yeah, but Allegri made you win a Scudetto. He goes, stop. I made Allegri win the Scudetto.
The only thing that they didn't disagree on, Anto was saying, Cassano's better than this. No, I'm not better. Yes, you are.
Wait, Mike, how about there's one thing actually, and you pointed it out. Do you remember?
Was it about Magnan?
Yeah.
So, this guy doesn't like Magnan.
He was quiet.
He goes, I think Cassano said we have
Yeah.
there's 3 or 4 campioni. One is Magnan, one is Pulisic, one is
Theo
Reinders, and then I forgot what the fourth one
Might have
was,
been Theo.
which you don't like Magnan.
But Antonio, it was the first time that Antonio sat there silent, and I could see my dad looking at him.
I
like,
don't want to
to
piss him off about Magnan. I'm not a big fan of Magnan.
No,
To me, it's not the high caliber.
Besides that,
But aside from that, I mean, 99% of the time I found myself in agreement with Cassano, not because I listen to everything that he says, but I think we see things the same way somehow. And everybody over here, why Cassano, when he says something, it's not looking for likes or posting. I don't even have Instagram. I don't have Facebook.
Neither
I don't have
does he.
anything. Neither Cassano.
somebody else his wife runs it for him.
Right. So,
fiance.
it's not about the likes. It's just about saying the right. Many times you might be pissing people off, but that's what, it's not there to be politically correct or sport-wise correct or try to do favor or say something that is not true. Cassano says as it is.
And
Whatever
the
he
other
thinks,
thing
he says it.
that impressed me was because you're thinking of Cassano and you see some of the media and the social media, how wild he was, and they have things that they say when he was in Roma, what he did, and Real Madrid, and all those. And I was so taken because he said, the most important thing for me are my kids.
Yeah.
Because these are the most important thing right now. He goes, and I want them to have a good time. Both of them are playing football. And for me, the most important is that they have a good time. I'm not pushing them to do something to the other. I thought that was
And then his wife changed his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, he said, I'm one that would like to give, like all the parents, they would like to give everything to their kids because my wife sometimes says no, which is, somebody's got to say no. Otherwise, you give up. But that was very interesting because my wife keeps me in
check, right?
In check.
You got very deep too.
Yeah.
Like we said with the social, but people will see. People will see the conversation.
And we were talking about football. We're talking about players. Ibrahimovic, who was Messi is God. They said Messi is God. Everybody else is down here. And then we talk about Giuseppe Rossi. And then from there, we want to talk about family and the kids and how important the family was and how important the kids were and how he grew up. He had no food. He had nothing. And when he scored that goal against the Inter, he was 17 years old with body. That all of a sudden he knew we're going to eat for a long time. There's going to be food.
Listen, there was an explosion
for a long time.
When that goal was scored, there was an explosion, not just in Bari on the stadium. The whole region almost caught on fire. It was just amazing.
You know what else impressed me about him? Last thing, and then we can move on, was how much he wanted to know everybody's opinion on stuff, right? Because again, this is a guy that one of the most talented Italian players. He would put you on the spot. Marco, no, what do you think? Who should be the coach of Milan? And I would say, Vincenzo Italiano. I love that. Okay, if it's not him, who's it gonna be? You would say somebody else. Nah, that guy's not. So he really wanted, and he would push you and find out what's the reason why you believe in this thing. So that, again, very impressive. He went above, beyond, and to the galaxy. It was incredible what he did, and I'm happy that you got to experience it in this way, because I said this on Instagram, and I'll say it to you in person because I know you don't see it on Instagram. Since we started this podcast, we always knew that we were going to make this moment happen. We knew one day.
You knew it?
Well, we knew that we were going to have the goal.
You know that I've been dreaming about
making me Cassano, and we said we were going to be the ones to set it up. And I imagine the moment a lot of times, and I have to say, my wildest dreams, I never would have imagined it to be like this, which shows you sometimes you want things to happen right away. You could force things to happen, but sometimes naturally is the best way for things to come with due time, because you could have gone and met him before, but it would not have been the same as this time. And the fact that they saw it got on their radar, big credit to AC Milan. I had to thank them because they're the ones who originally set up the meeting with Zlatan and Pulisic, which again, just full circle, it would not have happened if we didn't have that moment. So happy for you. And now we're going to be burdened by hearing you talk about this on every single podcast.
Anto, anything different that you know from Cassano before you met him and now after you met him? Overall,
listen, somehow I feel like him and we come from a very humble beginning. He was playing soccer, trying to, to make ends meet with, trying to keep his family with his mom. I mean, getting the food and getting, at the same time, he was gifted by God, I would say, actually St. Nicholas, because he was playing right around the corner of the church. Over there, we have some of the most famous churches in the history of architecture. We have the cathedral and we have the basilica. In one of them, we have the bones of St. Nicholas, which is Santa. You guys don't believe me that Santa is buried over there. That is in Bari.
We do believe you. We just looked up the history and you guys stole them.
We took his bone from the Turks. So we smuggled his body and his bones from the Turks. And now St. Nicholas.
The most badass thing of all time.
That's right. And
that
now
St.
Nicholas is resting in Bari. And Cassano, I think it was gifted. I mean, St. Nicholas, I think, was looking at him and he gifted him. The guy, there is not that many people that I can say. I just asked him, I said, when we're going to see another Cassano? Is there a chance we're going to get to see another Cassano? I think one of his kids has got a lot of talent that I might just explode. We don't know, but I just hope that on my lifetime I get to see another Cassano playing exactly the way the father played. Who knows?
Back to the football. Who's going to finish in fourth place? Because I have no idea. Now Bologna slipped up. They tied against Udinese. Udinese had nothing to play for. Mike just said Lazio slipped up. Roma. We didn't talk about Roma. That's the team that we have to actually talk about because they're 18 games unbeaten. And what Ranieri is doing, if not for Conte doing something outrageous in Serie A with winning with Napoli, Ranieri would be coach of the season because he took a team that was 4 points above relegation and is making them compete at the highest level. They're back in Champions League contention. I never thought these words would come out of my mouth. Even with the great form, I said, nah, Champions League, it's too far. He truly is something special in football. And again, the importance of understanding where you are. even Sule has exploded. I thought when Dybala went down injured, I said, okay, now it's really gone. He did amazing, Ranieri with the team. He's doing even better now because you lost an important player.
You know what's funny? All these journalists keep egging on Ranieri every time he adds to his tally, and they're like, but Claudio, aren't you going to miss? What if you miss the bench? You don't want to be a coach anymore? Come on. And then I think Ranieri responded. He was like, if I miss the bench, I'll just go to the park. I can sit up. He really wants to. He really wants to end his whatever.
Can we just leave him alone?
I want him
Can
to
we all
continue.
let him do.
Imagine he was there from the beginning of the season. What would have happened?
The guy is 74 years
He's not
old.
playing, he's
the guy,
coaching.
he made so much money. Let him
It's not
enjoy.
about
Let him travel the world.
The
He's
guy-
not enough.
A coach works.
You're the annoying journalist that he's getting mad at.
24 hours a
Don't
day,
you want to
7
win
days
his
a week.
greatness like this? I want to win his greatness.
Hey,
It's amazing.
Gaetano was the
enjoy.
first one that called it when Roma did
Yeah,
not
he
have a
did.
coach
He
back
did.
then. And I said, hey, who do you think should be the coach? And he was
He was the
one that
biggest-
says, bam,
biggest,
And by the
something,
way,
the
on
light
that,
bulb
on that
went
game
on.
against Inter, how smart Ranieri was. He put Sule on the right side so that the Marco would not have such an easy way going up. And then he put two forwards so that because Inter comes up with the and they distribute very. So it was very smart tactically from him. Let him. But after this year, let him go. Let him decide which coach is going to go there. He's going to have a saying. Who's going to go there is going to work with him. Yeah. So,
Gaetano, what can
we'll
Inzaghi
wait.
learn from Ranieri? Because Inzaghi he has a lot of pressure right now. And then Ranieri, when he took Roma, he had a lot of pressure to bring the team,
Listen,
in a position.
The thing
what
about,
can he learn from Ranieri?
The thing about Ranieri, if he doesn't get too excited, if he wins a big game, he doesn't get too excited, and he doesn't get too low if he loses a game. The guy is very respectful. He will never say, you will never see something done by him because he's very respectful. And to me, is very balanced.
Yeah.
I
He's
like
a
the way he keeps
balance,
his expectation and the team expectation very low, not to have people just, riding into this kind of excitement wave.
Expectation.
And so he keeps the expectation very leveled up and low. And then anything else is gravy that, the Roma achieves. It's just right or wrong.
To Mike's question, though, initially, I'm just going to say no before I even say it because it sounds crazy coming out of my mouth. If Ranieri was there from the start of the season, would Roma be fighting for the Scudetto?
Maybe not. Those are circumstances that they just happen. The team.
Napoli would find Inter for second place.
What do you
Not
think?
for the Scudetto.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who
what do you
knows?
think?
I don't know.
It's tough to say.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
tough to
the
say.
timing was just right. They went in at the right time.
Fair enough.
Juric was there. It was a disaster. So he went there. He had certain things that he had to do. He made the changes. Everybody followed him, and things worked out.
Fair enough. The other team, Juventus won against Monza. Yildiz, terrible red card. It feels like anytime Juventus does something well, they get a win. They score a goal. Nico Gonzalez scores. Finally, for the first time in 2025, there's always a but. That defines Juventus' season. There's always something negative to go along with it. Yildiz, we'll see how many games that he's going to get banned, but he could miss the very important game against Bologna, we know, but then Lazio as well, because it's a violent conduct red card. It's unfortunate for a young player, but also as somebody that you look at as he's the next in line, and you have to learn these things very quickly. And it's not one of those. It's not like he went into a tackle and he left his leg. No, it was
frustration.
You made a decision. You went out of your way to do something that doesn't belong here. So that was sad to see. But besides that, I really don't have any new takeaways from watching Juventus.
That's a Yildiz. That's immaturity, and at a young age, and he's going to have to learn from it. But you asked who's going to be the fourth team. Juventus is going to be number 4.
I think so as well.
You think so?
We saw,
yes.
I don't know about that.
I'll tell you.
I think
I don't know
Lazio
about
is
that.
squeezing in there somehow.
Lazio?
Yeah.
They're
know.
losing 2-0 today.
No.
Come on.
They came
They're
back.
too up and down. They have a
I know
great
they are.
team.
They
They
are
play
too up and
beautiful football, and then they let you down.
Bologna
Juventus
or
better
Juventus?
not make a lot of
Start these
mistakes.
games.
It's Bologna or Juventus for me, but I've said Juventus. I'm sticking with Juventus. Another thing that I would like to mention is Como. Como officially, mathematically safe in Serie A. Not that we've had doubts recently, but I think because there's so many storylines, because there's Napoli and Inter and Milan and all this stuff, we haven't talked about how great Fabregas has done at Como. His first time coaching in a Big Five league. When you come up from Serie B, it's so difficult. There's so many changes, the pressure, the expectations, the players, the experience, a million different factors. The club has supported Fabregas, but Fabregas has put on great football. There's very few teams in my memory that I can remember coming from Serie B that you're so scared to play against, that want to take the game to you. I love watching Como play. Anytime I see them on the schedule, oh, what do I have to move around to watch Como? We're even saying they have nothing to play for, but against Inter, it's going to be a match because he wants to prove himself. No doubt in my mind, Fabregas is one of the next ones up. I think he should stay at Como next season. I don't see any reason for him to leave yet. But then after that, it could be something big on the horizons. And there could be big things on the horizons for Como. I could genuinely see within the next 3 to 4 years them pushing for a Champions League spot. For the financial position that the club has, they're the richest owners. Second richest owners in football, or first or second, I don't remember. But also because I think on a sporting project, they're choosing the right players.
And they're very ambitious. It's an ambitious project. I like how Cesc, I love these modern coaches that aren't scared to switch up players. All the time, he plays a lot of these youngsters, gives people chances, and he lets them breathe. He lets them play football. He doesn't care if they make a mistake. He knows it's a growing project, and he doesn't, he's the kind of coach that would make Serie A better because he's he's a modernized coach with great ideas, and the people behind him let him coach without making him feel like you did bad this game, without people breathing down his neck, and that's very important.
Well, the guy played for some of the best team in Europe.
Doesn't matter though.
Okay,
as
number
a coach,
one.
yeah.
So as a coach, we didn't know what to expect from him. But I would say the factor that makes Como what a reality in soccer right now, especially in Serie A. Geographically, the place is one of the places that everybody wants to go on vacation.
Venice is, and I'm not ambitious about Venezia's project.
Okay, Venice.
It's not just that.
But many people, Venice has been known for a long time. Venice is the history, la storia dell'architettura, especially the Byzantine architecture, or especially the fact that Venice is unique, that has been on the water and all the stuff. But Como, I say everybody, all the big so like, he's got a house on the Lake Como. Oh, this guy's got a house on the Lake Como. Everything is about Como. So anytime that one of the players or one of the fact that he's got one of the big sporting director and the ownership is one of the top in, is that American too?
No,
he's from
Asia.
So they're Asian. Yeah, I don't know.
So they have a lot of money, those guys. So everybody, I think, is gearing up because it's a bunch of celebrities that they have their money
Pierre
involved.
Gasly was at the game.
Who?
Pierre
The
Gasly.
Formula One driver.
Wow.
He was at the game.
Gasly. All right.
Okay, I'm going to be really annoying now with this question.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go against everything that I want to say, but I have to throw it out there. Let's say Inter don't win anything.
I would love that.
Would there be a case for Inter to get Fabregas as their next coach?
No.
I will say.
Food for thought.
I'll tell you what. I will say Inzaghi will be looked at it a lot more deeply with a microscope. At that, what have you done and what kind of mistake have you done? What should have happened when you knew that things were not going the right way? You should have made a bunch of decisions beforehand.
That's harsh.
You know what? It might happen, Mike.
That's
Let me tell you
harsh.
something. What if? It's a 70% yes and a 30% no for me.
So my
Actually,
question
I
is,
hope it's 100%.
we know,
that
but you're going away from my point.
Yeah.
Would Fabregas be the guy?
I will not.
Would Inzaghi be questioned to move on from Inzaghi? I don't agree with this. I'm not saying that I agree with this, but
No, I think the question is, would it be a successful season for Inter if they don't win anything? And would it be a successful season for Inzaghi if he doesn't win anything?
Nope.
That's a tough, I think that's
It's a
difficult
tough
for
one.
me
It's very difficult.
to answer because, you went to a final, Champions League final.
Semi-final at this point.
Well, against
No,
Manchester
he's saying
City.
last time.
Okay. You're saying the whole cycle.
Yeah, the whole cycle.
I
of
got
the cycle. He went
I
to
got
a
it, I got it.
champion. He went to a semi-final of the Coppa Italia. He's in the race until maybe the last week for the Scudetto, and he's in the semi-final of the Champions League again this year. Is it? I don't know. Probably better to ask somebody who's an Inter fan if it would be a really bad season for them, or if they still Inzaghi. To me, looking from the outside, if you don't win one trophy out of 3, to me, it's
It's
not
a failure.
It's a
Total
failure.
failure.
It's
Not
a
just a
failure.
failure.
It's a failure.
Actually,
I
it's
don't care
bad.
about, I don't care about
news.
Coppa Italia. I don't care about Scudetto.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
You have to
They
win
did.
one. You have to win one trophy.
No, that's not what he's saying. He's
I
saying,
know, I
You have
know.
to
No,
win.
he's saying either
Yeah.
or. You have
Either
to win.
or.
Yeah. You have to win one.
He's saying he doesn't. He said either it's Coppa Italia or Scudetto. He's saying between those two, you have to win one.
Right.
Of them.
You have to win one.
That's what he's saying.
Or the Champions League. You can lose the Coppa Italia, lose the Scudetto, win the Champions League.
But you think that puts his job in danger? Because if he does,
If he doesn't
No,
win
if
anything,
if he doesn't win,
If he doesn't
anything.
win anything, he's going to stay.
Okay.
They're not
And
gonna-
you
said so.
They're not
I
going to
think
let
so
him go.
too. Yeah, I
To
think
me,
so
it
too.
would
I
be
agree.
a
You think he should
to
stay
me,
too?
it would be a failure.
would you change?
Well, would he
if you were
stay?
Marotta?
Should he stay?
No, I will let him
I will
stay.
change him.
Yeah,
I
me
will let
too.
him stay.
I will
agree.
change him.
But to me, it would be a failure.
Me too.
If you win
But
one
Would it-
trophy, then it's okay.
Can I throw something out there? Would it be a failure or would it just not be a success?
A failure.
Because I don't think this scenario is black and white. I think it's hard for a team like Inter to ever say something is successful when there's not a trophy attached to it. But if we talk about teams that were within a treble race until the end of April, there's 3 teams in the world, and for me, really, I'm counting 2 teams, right,
Yeah.
that are still there. So they played their part in every competition.
Right.
They got
Right,
so
yeah.
close.
Yeah.
They lost for, we're arguing, they don't have another guy like Thuram. They don't have this. They had injuries. They went out. Again, we're assuming that if they don't win. So it's hard for me to say it's a failure. For me, it's very hard to say it's a
hold
failure.
on, that's a very good point, because if you look at Bayern Munich, if you look at
Man City.
and
Liverpool.
Real Madrid and Liverpool,
Stop the nonsense.
they spend hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're not where Inter is right now.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe
But they won a title.
maybe by you say it's a failure or it's not a
Yes.
success. Maybe
I can't say it's a failure.
maybe I agree with
I
you.
I
would-
can't say it's a failure.
Listen, I would
Without
say
winning anything, you cannot say that it's a failure.
I would say it's a failure, but I wouldn't put Inzaghi's job at risk at all. Just the sole fact that he was so close to all 3 of
You
them.
know who I fault at the same, like a
still a
50-50
failure.
besides Inzaghi? It's Marotta. I'll tell you the reasons why. You went on the transfer market with Taremi. I mean, nobody knew who was Taremi.
No,
I
he
mean,
was great.
relax.
We all
know.
AC
Great
Milan was
Speak
was
for
on
yourself.
Anto, he was
AC
great.
Milan was on his
he was
radar, and
great.
then he won some commission here.
Taremi on
commission.
paper was a good signing.
It's not his fault they didn't
only-
pan out. It's not
they
their
made a
fault.
mistake.
The only reason why you're saying that is because Cassano said that.
No,
Marotta.
I don't know if Cassano.
Oh,
That's right. Yeah, auxilio. Auxilio. So, yeah, I like that. I like
trying to
that.
figure out where the hell this came.
Cassano was right. To
okay.
me,
Got
Marotta,
it.
he doesn't understand anything about soccer. Yes!
You
He
guys are
doesn't.
related.
He doesn't. He's the
When
one.
people
He's
see
the
the full
one.
interview, you'll understand.
So he's the one
That's funny,
interviewing the players.
That's funny.
What does he know,
That's
Marotta?
funny. That's
Marotta
okay.
never played soccer.
This is going to be unbearable.
Mike played more soccer than Marotta, as far as I'm concerned. So Marotta's got no business of choosing Taremi, all right?
Oh, God.
So, Mike, that's a compliment that I made for you, okay?
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Anything else, guys, or we're good?
I think we're good.
I think we're good. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe. We'll talk to you soon. Ciao, ragazzi.